want to talk about today is automation. So that's what I'm going to focus on, is how is kvCore working for you if you're not even working? Even if you're not working, if you're day drinking at the pool, how do you still convert leads? Once you get a handle on what kvCore is doing, you'll feel a lot more confident about using. That's my experience. What I'm going to talk about is, first of all, behavior alerts. So I want you to think about, what do you think that is? What are behavior alerts? What are search alerts? Listing valuations, market reports. What about drip campaigns? What about scheduled mass emails? So a lot of agents will say, oh, I want to add these bots or this AI to kvCore. kvCore already has it. Okay, it already has it. You can add more stuff. We have a lot to do in life. And so you're trying to sell some real estate. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and start with behavior alerts. I am logging in now to my kvCore. Ta-da! And I want to think about, what is kvCore doing behind the scenes? How am I going to learn this? The first thing you're going to do is you're going to know marketing, all marketing, and you're going to look for the behavior automation. You've got here to the far top right, it says behavior automation manager settings, or down here in one of these like windows or squares or widgets, whatever you want to call them, you've got behavior automation here. So you can get to it either way, behavior automation here or here. So I'll click here. And let's look at what this is. It actually tells you exactly what these are here. You can read it, but I'm going to tell you the gist of it. Basically, if a consumer does an activity on a website, they're going to get a message sent to them from your system. If there's a phone number, they're going to get a text message. If there's no phone number, they're going to get an email. So there's some other caveats with that, but I'm going to save that. Okay. So who is going to get these communications? By default, any status, any contact status that meets one of these criteria are going to get it. So if they're an active lead, if this blue toggle is on, that means anybody who's marked as an active lead is going to get this message, one of these messages. If they're marked as a new lead, if they're marked as a prospect or your sphere, they are the ones by default who are going to get the messages. I would not change this if I were you. I would leave this on. Who's not going to get a behavior alert is somebody who's marked as a client, somebody who's marked as closed, somebody who's marked as under contract, or somebody who's marked as archived. So what are these messages? They're listed right here. So these are the different types of behaviors somebody will do on your website that would cause kvCore to send them a message that's outside of campaign. You didn't do it. It's not included in campaign. It's something separate. It's the AI that kvCore has. What are these behaviors? If they haven't been to the website in 2 weeks and they come back to the website after 2 weeks, they're going to get a message. If they visit the site 5 times in the last week, they're going to get a message. If they view 5 properties in 1 day, they're going to get a message. If they view 10 properties in a week, they're going to get a message. If they view 3 property 3 different times, they're going to get a message. And if they favorite a property, now they're not going to get them more than 1 message a day. So if they do one of these activities and they get a message, and then they do another activity right after that, they're not going to also get another message right after that. They'll get up to 1 a day. So just don't worry about that. But how do you know what the message says? Guess what? You can click preview. So if you can see the text and see what it says. And if you don't like it, guess what you can do? Edit it and change what it says. Okay. So you can just change and save it to what you want it to say if you don't like what it says. And keep them short and sweet. They're there just to let that person know that they can reach out to you if they need you. You're noticing them and you care about what they're looking at, and you just want them to know that. And don't feel like it's bothering anybody. Yes, you're going to have some meanies and some jerks. Just delete them. Most of the people are going to think you are an on top of it realtor who actually is following up with them, when really you don't even know who they are. And it's beautiful. You can also see what the email is going to say, preview it. Again, if you don't like it, you can edit what these say. All right, so you're just going to change it, save it, ta-da. So that's how those work. And then finally, these little toggles here, mean you are going to get a notification sent to you that something happened. You get a text message that says a lead revisited the site after 14 days, and they'll say Sally Jensen visited the website after 14 days, a message was sent or a message was not sent. It will tell you if a message was sent or not. If they do not have a phone number, we send them an email. So when a user performs a behavior, we send them a text message, but if they do not have a phone number, they get the email. So that's how that works. Gianni, for the most part, do you leave the default messages on? For the most part, I leave them on. That's a good question, Gianni, but you could just go in there and see what they say. Whenever a text gets sent, it always says your name and your brokerage name in the signature of the text. You don't have to also include that. It's already going to come with the text automatically. So that's something to note. The other thing I want to point out about this page is this sentence. If a new lead or a prospect responds to you, they reply to something that was sent, or you mark them as contacted, they are going to be automatically moved to active status. So again, new lead or prospects, they're going to be moved to active. So what do I mean by that, and why does that matter? Okay, I'm going to go to the Smart CRM and let's look at this Sandy. She came in as a new buyer lead. How did that happen? She registered from like a squeeze page that was posted out there on the interwebs, and she was drawn to my website, registered to see the stuff, and now I have her in my system. When she looked at a property, kvCore decides, oh, they're looking at properties, that means they're a buyer. So kvCore is going to say, this is a new lead who's registered on your website and they are a buyer. And so what happens? My default buyer campaign turns on, because that default buyer campaign is set to start and trigger when a new lead who's registered on my website looking at property has registered. Now they're a new lead buyer, then that campaign's automatically going to trigger my default buyer campaign. If this person decides to respond to me, they're going to be active. So let's see if we can find one. So this guy, Howard. So he came in the same way, same type of lead. And then he replied back. And because he replied back, he becomes an active lead because of the way my behavior alert is set. It said when a new lead or prospect responds, either they reply to the text, they reply to the email, or you click on a new call and mark that you contacted them. If any of those things happen, they're going to become an active lead based on what my settings are. If they become an active lead, notice there's no longer a campaign. You see this? The active campaign stopped. So let's look at how that happened. The status changed from new lead to active lead because an inbound message was received. So the campaign was removed. Contact met and was removed from campaign. New default buyer. That means they met the criteria of active lead. They no longer meet the criteria of new lead. So that campaign stops. Okay, so that toggle I was showing you in the behavior alerts, if you don't want the campaign to stop, you can remove that toggle. And I did try it like that for a while, and then I decided to go back to it. And I can't really remember my reasoning, except that I think I was getting so many leads, I couldn't remember to manage who I wanted the campaign to stop for and who I couldn't. I had too many leads. So I'm like, I just want kvCore to do it for me. So that's why I chose to put this toggle back on. So again, when a new lead or prospect responds, move to active. That means whatever default campaign that got triggered because of the way they came in, it's going to stop. Ashley, does the text come directly to your phone? No, it doesn't come directly to your phone. It comes inside kvCore, but you'll get, number one, you'll get a message, text message from kvCore that says somebody texted you or messaged you. And what you can do is download the kvCore mobile app, which is your CRM on your phone, and you can see their message there. Turn on the push notifications from the app, get into the app and reply to their message there. So that's behavior alerts. Next, let's talk about search alerts when we're talking about automation. What the heck is a search alert?
Client is interested in a particular property and finding other properties similar to that, and it's automatically set up.
Yes. When somebody looks at a property on your website, kvCore is going to start creating a search alert based on what they looked at. I am going to open up this one. And this is a lead I got. They registered on my website and they ended up looking at these 3 properties. What does kvCore do with that? It automatically creates a search alert. But here's the problem, and this is a good example. Here's the problem. Sometimes the properties they looked at were unique enough or different enough than other properties around the area that you want to go into your system and fix up their search alerts, because kvCore will create a search alert as best as it can based on surrounding properties. So similar beds and baths, similar price range. But look what they looked at. They looked at something for around 112,000. That tells me it was probably a much lower priced home that's typically in that area. So kvCore can't find comps right now. And inventory is so low. So what I call these types of leads is I call them my 72-hour leads. They're leads that they've been in my system at least 3 days, and I need to go in there and double check the search alert and see that kvCore created a search alert that makes sense. So let's go look at this one. This person looked at this condo that was $469,000. And then if I look at the search alert that kvCore automatically created, it doesn't give them much right now. This is a search alert that's going to be going out daily, automatically. So every day right now, this person is getting this one listing. That's not good. So I need to come in here and clean it up. So you can set up to 2 alerts, but by default, kvCore is going to create the first alert for you based on what they're looking at. But again, after about 72 hours, I want to go in and I want to edit the alert. So the first thing I'm going to look at is how can I expand like the listing so that they get more. The one thing I can do is I could change the area. So I could add more cities. I can add multiple cities here. So for example, right now it's just on Ada. I can do Forest Hills. So I could do these different areas around the city, or I could do like just the county. So I might do Kent County because that's where this particular town is in, Kent County. So I can expand.
So what's your preference when you, I don't know, here around the Toronto thing, I always get that choice between city and area. Do you know if there's a better choice?
Thank you for asking that, actually. So what he's asking, when I typed in Forest Hills is really, it really is a neighborhood. So it shows neighborhood, area, or elementary school. Okay. What you want to do, Alan, is if you search for this, and because it's not a true city, it's really just a neighborhood, you can choose it and see if the data is good. I think it's improved over time, but when I first started working with kvCore, if you chose neighborhood or area, like there was no data there. But again, it was early on. So but I just trained myself never to use areas or neighborhoods, to only use cities or townships or zip codes or counties that were true, that said city, zip code, county instead of area, neighborhood, because the data is just not as good. But check your system because the data in your area might be better. It might be good. Another one to notice, see where it says elementary school, Forest View Elementary School. This is my MLS is allowing kvCore's, the IDX going to kvCore. The MLS is allowing kvCore to search by school districts or around schools. Not all MLSs allow the IDX to do that. So some of you, if you're trying to set up a search for around a school or a school district, your MLS may or may not allow your IDX, which is kvCore, to do that. I'm just letting you know. So if you see that on mine, you don't see it on yours, that's why. Okay. And you can ask kvCore, hey, will my IDX allow me to search by school district or school? Because I'm not seeing it. Can you help me? That's something you could do. But typically if it's not there, it's because it's not going to allow it. Anyway, so what I would do in this case, Alan, what you can do is you could draw it on a map too. I know I want to do this area, but I don't want to do all of Kent County. And I can't think of all the little towns around Ada that I want to include. So I'm going to just make my life easy and draw a map.
I've gotten my best results by doing that. So yeah.
You have? Yeah. Okay, good. What I did is I typed in Ada here and it went to the spot. And so now I'm going to draw the area. draw this area. And it's clunky, but it works. It's like basically just click in it and it like draws it, like good enough. All right. And then apply the section. And so now it's got this whole map. I can choose, do I want just condos or do I also want to add single family homes? So I'm adding single family homes. I'm going to adjust this price range down to 300,000 because they were looking at condos. So I'm going to adjust the price range a little bit to 300,000. The other thing I'm going to do is baths and beds. I'm going to just reduce this to 2 beds, 1 bath, because again, I don't know what they're looking at yet, and I want them to get more listings. That's what I'm trying to update. So now I'm updating the alert. Now let's see what that did. So great. So there's a lot more results here. Now I feel better about this person getting a daily email. Now, maybe they're not opening emails and I don't want to tick them off. If they're not opening emails, I can change the frequency to twice a week or once a week or twice a month or monthly. But for a buyer who's registered on my website, I want to do it at least twice a week. And in this case, I'm going to just leave it on daily. So again, you're going to want to go through your new leads every 3 days or so and see, okay, does this person have a search alert and what does it look like? So why am I saying every 3 days or every 72 hours? Because when somebody registers on your website, that search alert isn't automatically created for up to 48 hours. So it might not be there until about 48 hours till kvCore can start creating it. All right. So that's that on automatic search alerts. And then you editing the search alert or adding a search alert. Let's say I talk to Colleen and she tells me more about what she's looking for. Then I can go and edit that search alert a little more specifically now that I know. But until I know that, I'm going to do it more general. Does that make sense?
Do you prefer not speaking to them and asking them right up front? I see that you're looking for such and such. Can I improve your search by whatever and then get specific?
You don't have to say that because guess what? kvCore does it for you. It says it will send them emails and texts if there's a phone number. It'll send the emails asking these types of questions.
Okay.
And it will send, if there's a phone number, it'll send a text asking that specific questions. I noticed you're looking at properties on my website. Can you tell me more specifically what you're looking for? And I can improve your search alert. It's like basically what you said. Now, if you want to do it too and just send another message, you definitely can.
So does that happen before you've gone in and changed these things and drawn your map and all that stuff?
That's up to you. So like, for example, Colleen here, if I have her phone number, I'm calling her. Okay. And maybe she'll answer, maybe she won't. If she doesn't answer, I'm going to set myself a task to try again tomorrow or later today. Okay. I'm going to keep trying several times, especially in that first 3 days. I'm going to try to reach her immediately.
Okay.
If I can't reach her, then my next option is to improve that search alert. Then
Yeah, that makes great sense.
And then if I don't have a phone number, then I might send video emails to help convert that lead sooner than later. These leads, especially Facebook leads, Google leads, they're at the top of the funnel, and most of them are going to take longer to convert, but there is a small percentage that are ready right now. So you want to be really as aggressive and motivated as possible those first 3 days to show them you're ready. Because if they are one of those ready right now leads, they're ready right now. This is me. Have you been so desperate for a hairdo, you're willing to go to Fantastic Sam's because you want it right now and you didn't take time to make an appointment with a real hairdresser? That's people, right? If they're ready right now, they're ready right now. They'll go with anybody who's showing up motivated and available. Do whatever you got to do that first 3 days. All right. All right. Yes.
I have a question. So
Yeah.
does kvCore automatically set the first alert or whatever they looked at?
Yep.
Okay. Because in most of my agents, they're not setting up, kvCore doesn't set up that first alert.
It does if that person looked at a property and they registered on the website. If that person registered on the website
Yes.
and looked at a property, kvCore within 48 to 72 hours is going to create a search alert that will show up here.
Okay. So
If that's not happening, something's broken.
yeah, it's 48 hours.
Yeah,
It will
takes
set
about-
it up.
Yeah, It
Okay.
can take up to 72 hours, depending. When someone registered on your website for the first time and they've looked at a property, this search alert area might not show anything, and no search alerts will be sent for probably up to 48 to 72 hours, as long story short. But then if you've done it for them already and you set up a search alert before kvCore automatically created it, then it's not going to, then your search alert is the one that's going to stay. kvCore's won't, because you've already created the search alert. Kayla's asking, can you set up that only new listings are sent? You can. So if I'm looking here, I can do like listing types, and then I can do options, like just listed would only be the new listings. If I select that one, I don't do that just because inventory is so incredibly low. So I just send them all, but it's totally up to you. So that's part one of the search alert. When someone registers on your website, a search alert will automatically be created. After 72 hours, you want to go and just make sure you like that search alert and you don't need to do any expansion or changes for it. Number two, you can set up a search alert for them manually, whether it's a new lead or somebody in your sphere. I like to put everybody in my sphere and everybody that I know where they live and they own their home, or maybe they don't even own, they rent. I set them up. I'm going to search alert for all the listings in their zip code once a month. So whether I sold them a house before, whether I just know them and I know where they live, I'm going to send them all of the new listings in their zip code once a month. That's what I do. Then there's another type of search alert I want to talk to you about. And it's what I call, it's my own language, a global search alert. So let me give you the context for this. This particular lead is this particular type of lead is a lead source that I actually pay for inside kvCore. And it's a pretty good one. So if you're looking to pay for some leads that are not too expensive and is a good start without you having to create and post your own squeeze pages to boost, but you need a little supplement, you need something more, this is a good one. So I'll go to Marketplace and click on Get More Leads. And there's this one, it's called Facebook AI Advertising and Retargeting. It gives you the name, email, and cell phone number that Facebook has on file. And it's going to target homeowners and renters within 15 miles of a chosen zip code. Artificial intelligence targets the right audiences and rotates your ads to generate the right mix of quantity and quality. And all the leads come with a hashtag, so you can configure automatic search alerts and campaigns. In addition, up to 35% of your budget goes to sophisticated retargeting. This is an 8-minute video that explains it. What you have to know, though, you have to commit for 3 months at a minimum of $250 a month to try this. But you can cancel it, okay? But the leads are pretty decent for Facebook leads. All right, so I like it quite a bit. Doing them since 2020, and you can change the zip code up to once a month. So if you want to try one zip code 1 month, and then you want to try a different zip code another month and see which zip code is giving you the most good stuff, you can do that. You can change it up to once a month. Then after 3 months, you can cancel if it didn't give you the return that you wanted. But for me, I like it quite a bit. And some of my coaching clients have been using it and they are liking it and getting good leads from it, like active buyers, like ready to go. What you need to know about these leads, though, is when they come in, and what I'm about to tell you, you're going to be able to apply to other scenarios too. But this particular lead, when they come in, it'll show you how it came in. It came through this ad, and what it was a lead form. So what they do is they create Facebook lead forms to gather that person's information, and then they bring them to a multi-property page, filter page on your website from your domain. So what happens, kvCore creates this ad for you, and then they put it out there, and then this is what the people land on, and when they fill out that form. So what happens is you can't tell that this person looked at any properties. And because you can't tell that they looked at any properties, kvCore can also not tell that they looked at any properties. So what does that mean? No search alert will automatically be created. So you have to create one ahead of time. So you can see this one comes in with these two hashtags, KVPaidFB and 49505, which is the zip code I'm using. What you do is you go to marketing, all marketing, And then there's this search alert tab. And this is where what you can create what I call a global search alert. It tells you exactly what's happening. But basically, if somebody registers on your website and looked at a property, the search alert's automatically going to be created, right? But in a case like I just showed you with this lead type, no search alert will be created. I want a search alert to start. So what I did is I created a search alert called 49505 because it's that hashtag. The hashtag comes in, 49505 comes in with that lead. So what this says is, hey, kvCore, when you see the hashtag 49505 added to a lead when it registers, I want you to automatically set up this search alert. So here's the search alert 49505. And all the listing types I want them to get. Now I put everything in here. I put single family, condos, residential lease, rentals, commercial lease, multifamily. And the reason I did that is because I don't know this person yet. I don't know what prompted them to want to see. So I want to show them all the listings that are on the MLS that I can. But you can change it. Even like, I just want to show single family and condos. That's fine. Whatever you want. But that's what I do. And then I don't worry about options or beds, bath, because I want the most listings possible. And then I say daily. So anyway, that's the alert. Now, again, what happens because I have this set up, when that lead comes in with that hashtag, boom, that search alert is set on there. Now it does take up to really 48 hours for that search alert to get going on that lead, even though it's set automatically, it's still going to take a minute. Okay, so that's the kind of what I call a global search alert. And now let's talk about listing valuations and market reports. Sandy here, when she came to my website and registered, this is the page she saw. She could have also clicked on free market report and registered to get her market report for this zip code or subscribe to a market report, but she didn't. But I could subscribe her. I could create the market report if I wanted to. So I'm going to go here to market report, add a market report. And she looked in that zip code 49505. I could create a market report for just that zip code. I could create a market report for a whole city, a county, and I'm going to do it in this case for the city. So I'm adding it. So you can do this for your sphere. You can do this for new leads. And you're describing, notice again to Alan's question, it says area, neighborhood, or city. You always want to choose the city or the zip code or the county. And I can set this up for them to get it every 7 days, 14 days, 21 days, or 28 days. I'm going to put it on 28 days because she didn't ask for this. I'm subscribing, so I'm not going to overwhelm her. And so I always add a market report for a potential buyer for the area they're looking at. At this point, I don't even care if there's a campaign. They're getting daily search alerts plus a monthly market report so far. Okay, so campaigns don't matter as much as these activities because these are the things that are going to drive these people back to your website, and that's what you want. So I always subscribe anybody who's thinking about buying in a certain area to a market report that they're going to get maybe every 14 days to 28 days, depending on how active they are or motivated they are. All right.
But aren't they already getting all the campaign stuff automatically?
If you have campaigns set up, but what if they respond and now they don't get that campaign anymore?
Okay.
So again, a campaign, this is what I always say to agents. A lot of agents are like, you know what matters to me so much? Matters like what my website looks like. And I need to know how to change this logo. And I need to know how to make this color. And I need to know how to make the template this way. And I need to know how to make the navigation look this way. Okay. Or you know what? I need beautiful campaigns. I need them to say amazing things. And that's what I need. Those two things, the way your website looks and your campaigns, matter the least out of all of this. What matters is you generating leads and then nurturing that database that includes these new leads and your database. And how are you going to nurture them? By providing value. And how do you provide value? You're going to send the search alerts, the market reports, the listing valuations. That's what they want to know. Okay. Could you have a default campaign or a certain campaign running as well? Sure. Drip actions. Sure. But what do they want to see? They want to see the properties. They don't care about how clever you are and what you're writing. Honestly. Okay. So we talked about search alerts and we talked about market reports, but does anybody else have any questions about market reports?
I'm pulling up a customer that I have that I know is going to be looking for a new home and they own one. So it'd be
Mhm.
great to do a market report for them,
Mhm.
but that's grayed out on her tab.
If it is, that means, did she unsubscribe from emails?
I don't think so.
So like here, if I wanted to add this market,
Yeah.
report, I could, but if yours is grayed out, that means there's no valid email or she unsubscribed.
She did. I see that she did now.
So if you've already talked to her and maybe she didn't realize she was unsubscribed and she wants to get it, you can go to more actions here and you can subscribe back to emails.
Oh, okay.
You can do that. Okay, so that's market reports. Now let's talk about listing valuations. So the first thing I want to show you is a lot of times you'll get a new seller lead or a prospect seller lead. Most seller leads come in as prospect leads instead of new leads. And part of that is because how that page operates. How that page operates is somebody can ask for their instant home value on a seller squeeze page or right here on your website. And put in their address, and they're going to be able to see what their instant home value is. This the estimated value. Okay, no big deal. Something that they can also get on Zillow, for example. But then if that person wants to unlock more information about what new listings are also near their address and how many buyers are looking in that area. So unlocking certain information, the person actually has to give you at least an email address in order to see more of that information. Many people choose not to unlock that information, but that's okay. You still get an address, and that address is gold. What's weird is that if you work this address, you look up in the county records who owns that property and start mailing them things immediately. These are the leads that will actually convert. They've raised their hand. They just didn't feel like continuing giving you more information. They just didn't feel like it. And so it doesn't mean they're not interested. That's that. But anyway, long story short, they come in as prospects. And you'll notice I don't have any information. I don't have the listing valuations there, but it's not being sent because I don't have a real email address. Okay. I don't have an email address. So what else could I do? Maybe if I have a system like Cole Realty Resource or Vulcan 7 or RedX or Spokio, I could find out based on this address, somebody's contact information and set them up in that way. But really, I just send the mailers. Okay. I just create some mail and I send it to these people. That's what I do. Anyway, for those people you do have an email address for, I'm going to go to new lead, prospect, sphere, active lead. I'm going to find sellers, people have requested their home valuation or that I've marked as a seller, and I put has email. So I'm going to find, I just went to my search filter, and that's the type of people I'm looking for because I want to talk to you about listing valuations. All right, so I'm applying that filter. And so here's one guy. This is somebody that did register on my website, and my virtual assistant used my RedX account to find some contact information. And we are setting them up on a listing valuation, by the way. Okay, let's see who else. This person did register with their email address and asked for their instant home valuation. And then you see it's here. Now, another thing to note about the listing valuation, when somebody requests their listing valuation, provides the email, it will show up automatically here. And by default, it's supposed to send their listing valuation once a month. But it'll show me here, like the last time it was checked, the last time it was sent, it says 4/4. That was more than a month ago. So it hasn't been sent. So sometimes these get stuck, the listing valuations, not market reports, not search alerts, but listing valuations. So you can click update and send. And now it's going to update the valuation based on current data that kvCore can find. And then it's now sending the email. So if I refresh this, there it is, home value update for Naomi view. And then I can see what it looks like. Okay. So that's what's being sent now. But what else I do, you guys, is if there's somebody Okay, so like this person, I'm the one that added these people in here. And so I had their address. So I went ahead and just manually added the listing valuation here. Now they're going to get it automatically, or I might need to go and update and send, because again, the listing valuations get stuck. The other thing I want to talk about are the campaigns. So some of you, it sounds like either A, you don't have ours set up, or B, you didn't conduct your own DIY setup, or maybe you paid somebody else to do setup and they didn't give you campaigns, which happens a lot, by the way. All right, so I'm going to go to Marketing Smart Campaigns. And if you don't have any campaigns in here, what you can do is you'll see these 3 tabs. kvCore Library is the tab that you want to go to. And there's 3 essential campaigns I want you to grab. If this is you, if you don't have my setup, all right, and you don't have default buyer campaigns and seller campaigns, I want you to go to kvCore Library. I'm just going to type in buyer here, and you'll see this one. It's default new lead buyer, or it's conversion default buyer. I noticed some people don't have this one, conversion default buyer. This is the one I would have you add to your library and activate. It's just 6 touches. This one that says default new lead buyer is 43 touches, but most of it is tasks for you. Column. That's the only difference. Okay. So you're going to add one of these, you're going to click add to library, and then you're going to, under my campaigns, you're going to make sure the toggle's on, and then ta-da, that campaign will be on. If you already have a default buyer campaign, you don't want to add another one, because then you're going to have 2 campaigns going at the same time. So don't do that. All right. The other campaign to have is the default seller campaign. And you just type in seller here. And again, if you can find conversion default seller, add that one. Or if you don't have that one, you can do this default new lead seller. Okay. And then finally, there's one more. It's called this one, default prospect homeowner. So you can just type in prospect or homeowner, and this will come up. Default prospect homeowner. This is a campaign that's designed for people you have an email for that registered on your website, but they came in as a prospect seller lead instead of a new lead, because a lot of them come in prospect. So those are the 3 default essential campaigns you have to have.
Have you had any luck with doing a mass change? Because I've been playing around with my campaigns and they were too busy. So I assigned different ones, and it looks like the functionality should be in kvCore to filter for just people on certain campaigns, and then to mass change them to the new campaign that you prefer them on. Because I set up that 43 touch ones, and I had to turn them off because they annoy me and they annoy my customers.
So what you're saying is you want to mass add a different campaign and take them off another campaign?
Correct.
So yes and no. Let's see if kvCore made any changes on this. Let's say, okay, if I go to filters, somebody asked me how to use filters again anyway. So if I go to filters over here, I've got these different sections: contact status, assigned users, contact details. And let's see, I want to find people that are on a certain campaign. So what you're going to do is you're going to go over to, I think, behavior, and you're going to look for that campaign. Yeah. So like you have to type in the default, that 43 touch one default, you're going to find that campaign, and you're going to find everybody who's on that campaign. You're going to apply the filters. And then what you're going to notice is at the top right over here where it says rows, you can do up to 250 rows showing at one time, which is good if you have a lot.
Right.
So I'm going to show you the best that I can what you can do here. Okay, so I showed you that, hey, in the filters, you can find everybody who's on this campaign. Okay, we apply the filter. And now how many pages do I have of these people? I've got 2 pages worth. So when I select everybody on this page, it's only going to select this page. Okay, it's not going to select that next page, select all the page. And so from here, I can add a new campaign to these people. Okay, I can mass add a campaign. So I can click add campaign, and I can search, maybe I want them to be on this campaign, and I'm going to add that campaign instead. But here's the problem. I can't mass delete.
Right.
So here's my solution. It's the best that you can do. What I would do is I would not only add the new campaign, but maybe add a hashtag that says something like, says what I want to do. I want to delete default buyer campaign. Okay. So I'm just going to put in delete default buyer. And I click update tags. Now, everybody that on this page, I just added that tag to delete buyer campaign. So I'm going to categorize. And now I'm also can go to the next page and select everybody on this page and add that same hashtag. And why do I want to do that? Because so I can add the same hashtag, more actions, add hashtag, that same hashtag, and add it. And then what I can do is go back to filters and find everybody with that hashtag. And this is a pain in the ass, but it is what it is. Okay. So I'm going to go
the solution.
So I'm going to go to hashtags. I'm going to go to delete default buyer. Okay. I'm going to apply the filter. Now it's going to show me, because these are all the people that have that hashtag. That means I need to go ahead and delete that old campaign for them. So I applied these filters and I have, how many did I add to that? I think it was 250.
250.
Yeah. So now what I got to do is I'm actually going to, you could pay a VA to do this, or you could do it one by one, go in here. Because if you have now, if I've added another campaign, now I've got the 2 campaigns, I'm going to delete the one I want. So I can just click here and remove the one I want to remove the campaign. And then when I'm done, then I can delete this hashtag as well. So now they're not going to be included. So if I can work on a little bit, delete some, and then search for that filter again and continue to work on it little by little. So that's the only way to do it that I know of.
Okay. Well, Lisa, another question I had for you is, I know this was a different class, but is there any way to apply a hashtag to a user based on their behavior in the system?
What you're saying? No, I know what you're saying. The only way to do that, like what you're saying, is based on the behavior that they just did. Can this automatically happen?
Right.
Okay. If they favored a property, add the hashtag favored a property. No, you can't do that.
Okay.
What you can do is you can get into the filters and you can search by these types of filters for behavior. Under behavior, I can search for what, do they have search alerts or do they not have search alerts? Do they have market reports? Do they not have market reports? Do they have a running active campaign or not? Have they opted in or opted out? Have they responded to anything? When was the last time they were active? So let's say I want to find all the people that have been active. Haven't been active since last year, for example. I want to find all the people that haven't been active for last year. I can filter those kinds of people out and then start doing whatever I got to do for them.
Okay.
Okay. So that's what you can do. The other thing I want to talk to you about really briefly is another automation you do is scheduling mass emails. So for example, let's say I want to schedule a Memorial Day email. I'm going to do it really quick for you. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. So I'm going to go into marketing, smart campaigns. I'm going to go to templates. First of all, look in templates and see if there's a Memorial Day type email that I could use. There isn't. So I'm going to create one. I'm going to add a template, email template, and I'm going to switch to the advanced email editor. I'm going to name this Memorial Day 2023. Happy Memorial Day. And this is a row. I'm going to add another row here and another row and one more row. So I just added these rows over here. Next, I'm going to add content. I'm going to have an image here. I want to put a Memorial Day kind of image. So I'm going to go to unsplash.com and I'm going to type in Memorial Day. And it's showing me some free type pictures I can use, royalty free. So I can choose what do I want to use here. Let's see. I really did like this one. So I'm going to use this one. I can download this. I can use this for free, royalty free. One thing you need to know about it is they're really big pictures, and kvCore doesn't love big pictures. So you guys can't see this, but I just opened it up in my Macintosh and then it gives me the editor, the photo editor that's right inside my computer. Even your PC has it. Okay. So now I'm going to just click on adjust the size and I'm going to make this 1,000 pixels wide instead of 4,000. So I just made it smaller. All right. Now I can drag this image right here. And ta-da! And now I want to say Happy Memorial Day to people, but I don't want to use my brain because I'm tired. So I'm going to go to Chat GPT. Okay, so I want to write a short and inspiring email wishing the recipient a happy Memorial Day in the United States.
There's an extra T in your inspiring.
That's okay. ChatGPT is super smart. All right, so it writes me something nice. Okay, that's wonderful. Make it shorter and sweeter. All right, very nice. So it gives me a nicer little one. So I'm going to grab this text. One thing you need to know about text that you're copying from an online platform into kvCore is you want to clear the formatting first. So what I'm going to do, let me open up my little notepad that's on my computer. And I'm just going to paste the copy in here. What that does is basically cleared the formatting. So I'm not going to have any weird text or weird gray background. And I'm going to grab, I'm going to grab this text content and put it here. And now I'm going to paste what I want to say here. And then I want to personalize it. So I'm going to say, hi, so-and-so, hi, merge tag, first name. So it's going to say hi, whatever their first name is. Okay. And then I want to also put in my signature. So I'm going to grab this text over here and I'm going to use a merge tag. So my signature from my profile is automatically added there. So I'm going to go to merge tags and find my agent signature. And then because I have to follow spam laws and stuff, I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to put an unsubscribe link. Now, kvCore will tell you that an unsubscribe link will go there automatically. No, I haven't seen that happen automatically. I've had to add it in there. So I'm going to add an unsubscribe link. And again, I'm going to go to merge tags and add my unsubscribe URL because I don't want people to count me as spam. So I'm going to just put the unsubscribe URL here and I'll make it small too. So it's there, but it's just not like front and center. And then ChatGPT gave me a good headline. So I'm going to grab that headline and use that. All right. And then I can also put like a button like visit my website. I'll do that. So button, enjoy browsing my real estate website in West Michigan. I'm just going to say.
You're a genius, Sylvia. I just wanted to say that.
Thanks. I'm glad it's helping you. All right. It's awesome. So now I'm going to just grab my domain here and I'm going to stick this in, boop, open a new page. So now this button will be there. I'm going to add the template. Okay. So there it is. So now I just saved this template. If I want to just make sure it's there, I'm going to search for memorial. It's in there somewhere. There it is. Okay. And I can just check it and make sure I saved everything good and I'm happy. Ta-da! Okay, good. So now I'm going to schedule this email. So now I'm going to go to marketing, all marketing. I'm going to go to schedule mass email, schedule mail. I can send this to anybody who's matching a certain saved filter or a certain hashtag or hashtags or to statuses. And in my case, I'm going to just send it to every Tom, Dick, and Harry that is in my system, no matter what their status. Okay, so I'm going to send it to all those people and I'm going to send it on Monday. And what time I'll say it. Now, please note, no matter where you are in the world, it's going to get sent out Eastern time. So if you say, I want this to go out at 9 a.m., it's going to go out 9 a.m. Eastern time. So if you live in California and you choose 9 a.m., just know it's going to happen at 6 a.m. because my time is Eastern time and kvCore is in Eastern time for some reason. FYI, then find my template. There it is, Memorial Day 2023. Fills in the subject, boom, and schedule it.